Yo guys, Vision here bringing you more Marvel Rivals content, and today's episode I'll be bringing you the full Punisher guide following the latest Season 3.5 update, breaking down all of his abilities, including his team up and addressing both his strengths and weaknesses. This is episode 28 of my Hero Series guides with all of the previous episodes on my channel and linked in the description below. So on that note, let's get right into it. So as an overview, first things first, Punisher is a consistent, well-rounded duelist with high health, a wide and balanced kit, as well as an incredible damage output and easy to use. As a duelist, he has got to be one of the easiest and most enjoyable heroes in the game to use, with a satisfying ultimate ability capable at clearing an entire team by himself, especially at those lower elo ranks, and fits into almost any system due to his well-balanced playstyle, being a ranged duelist with counter dive and evasive capabilities using his smoke grenade, his zip wire cable, and shotgun for dive threats. Now, as for his stats, with a 275 base health and an additional 25 health from his team ability, which I'll go over at the end with the Black Widow, and a 6 meter per second movement speed, which when you factor in his zip wire, which I'll go over shortly, it does make him quite fast for the most part, especially when you're considering how he can get up to higher elevations, create off angles and stuff like that. And then of course it makes him one of the strongest health heroes or duelists in the game as well. Now with his abilities, he actually has two primary attacks unlike most. He has the Adjudication Assault Rifle as primary number 1, where he fires at enemies using the assault rifle, dealing 19 damage per round, has a 40 ammo count. The fall off damage begins at 20 meters, decreasing to 70% at 40 meters and beyond, firing 10 rounds per second, and does deal critical damage. Now this is his ranged primary attack. As for his second primary, the Deliverance, which is an enemy, this is a shotgun where he can fire at enemies with the Deliverance, which is basically firing 10 damage per round with an 8 ammo count and deals critical damage. Now this is really good for sort of dive heroes and dive threats, being almost like a counter dive weapon in itself, making him really effective in that regard, especially for those sort of higher sort of health and larger sort of size targets such as Penny, Hulk, Thing, and you name it. It's really good for sort of aggroing them and making them sort of want to back down, because you will melt through those enemies really well. The fall off of this shotgun begins at 8 meters and decreases to 40% at anything past 15 meters, so it is a really close quarter weapon, but a counter dive weapon, firing 14 bullets fired each shot with 1.43 rounds per second. So the damage is actually kind of crazy if you factor in how many shots you can land, especially on those sort of larger sort of hitbox enemies like Hulk and Thing. Now as for his L1 ability, this is what I was referring to as the sort of zip wire hook, known as the Vantage Connection. By pressing L1, you launch a hook to generate a cable that enables the Punisher to move fast to a higher or further elevation or position to gain an advantage at height benefits as a power spot, creating off angles, and to move faster or to escape, of course, as well. Now this ability allows Punisher to travel up to 35 meters away using the cable, and then even further if you jump off towards the end of that actual cable route in itself, which basically allows you to travel at a speed of 25 meters per second and is a cooldown of 20 seconds. Now using the L2 ability combined with this as the smoke grenade, as well as this, Punisher also has a smoke launcher which can basically be used as an escape ability, blinding the enemy or dealing damage and sort of jumping backwards 9 meters when used. By pressing L2, this basically activates the Scourge grenade and deploys a 5 meter radius smoke that can basically block vision of angles, doorways, etc., and also deals 45 damage and has a cooldown of 8 seconds. Now this is not utilized at the lower elos in the sense that it can block vision. It's more used as a panic or sort of an evasive ability, but for the most part it can be used to allow your teammates, especially those stealthier teammates, to get across angles with being unseen and going unnoticed. Now as well as this, Punisher also has his powerful culling turret. By pressing R1, you deploy a turret that grounds Punisher and blocks damage from the front, whilst also dealing a massive amount of damage. Now this deals 10 damage per round, dealing 10 explosive damage per sort of within a 3 meter radius as well, firing 12.5 rounds per second, and has an ammo count of 200. And the turret also has a health of 600 and a cooldown of 20 seconds. Now this ability is ridiculously overpowered, especially when used behind the likes of a Stranger's Shield, or when it's used at an off angle when people just don't realize it's there for a couple of seconds, especially at lower elo. Also, the Punisher has a very cool and somewhat overpowered passive ability. The Punisher can retain vision of enemies that disappear from view for a short duration of up to 3 seconds and anywhere up to 30 meters in radius. So if he sees an enemy and they disappear for like 2 seconds, you can still see them around corners up to 3 seconds, which is really cool. And like I said, it's somewhat overpowered. I don't think it's necessarily needed for this character, and if it is sort of required, I do think maybe you should sort of nerf the health, because I think this character, especially at higher elo, is definitely almost what I would consider overpowered, especially when you're accurate with the AR, the primary number 1, and really good at using the shotgun for counter dive threats. But then as for his ultimate ability, finally, this can unleash 2 Gatling guns and a missile to attack enemies. Whilst in the ult form, you are slowed, of course, by 10% in movement speed and 30% when you're actually shooting or using the ultimate ability. The Gatling gun deals 8 damage per round, with the fall off beginning at 20 meters and decreasing to 70% again at 40 meters, firing 33.33 rounds per second, which results in 267 damage per second with infinite ammo for the entire use, and it lasts for 10 seconds, costing only 3,700 energy, which is pretty average for the most part when you consider it, but a very clutch and powerful ultimate ability when timed right, and can literally obliterate the entire enemy team, especially at low elo when they don't focus on you for a short period of time. Buying you a couple of those extra seconds would allow you to get out like 1,000 damage if you can can have for like 3 to 4 seconds, which is crazy when you think about it, and why I almost consider it very overpowered. Now, the shoulder-mounted missiles as well will do an additional 50 damage, traveling at 60 meters per second and firing every 3 seconds with 8 missiles per shot, and has a maximum lock-on distance of 40 meters away. So as you can see, this is just ridiculous, firing so much sort of Gatling gun bullets and also firing missiles, which is just ridiculously and so satisfying to use as well. Now, this, as well as this, he has a team ability that he shares the cutting edge tech with Black Widow, as he is the anchor being for this team ability, providing her with a cool ability and himself with a 25 increase in max health and a 5% damage boost. In summary, he's arguably the best ranged duelist in the game in my opinion, a true specialist DPS hero with various different styles, and when in good hands, precise aiming and prioritizing those squishy targets, the Punisher is actually incredibly effective at eliminating enemies and racking up final hits and damage. But anyways, guys, there you have it. That's the full guide for the Punisher. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or tips and tricks or cool clips that you want to share about using this character, let me know down below in the comments and I'll get right back to you. I'm VisionSGen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.